saw them perform at the first week. But then eventually it was Sunny Lion who, without many flashy players or without many flashy plays, were kind of, staying in the league and actually making a really good impression at the playoffs as well.
Yeah, Sunny Lion stayed safe and words, please. Safe and stable, and were able to position solidly place themselves in a position near the bottom of the table, but not within the danger zone. And right now, though, they are in the danger zone. They're going to be looking to try and burst out of it today, starting with Dragonshire.
Yeah, Dragonshire seems to be such a popular map in China, whereas other regions rely a lot of on Towers of Doom, for example, or Infernal Shrines in general. Dragonshire, even against teams like SBT, who are still undefeated on that battleground, some teams just like to go for it, to even just initiate a series like that. Hanzo once again getting taken out. It's so interesting to see, isn't it, Tetcher? Where in other regions, Hanzo sometimes disappears without even being picked or banned. In China, that is, I think, today the third game in which we see a first ban Hanzo coming from either of the teams.
I think you were right. Hanzo has been very high up in terms of priority in China ever since we've come back to this phase. And it's kind of cool to see. This appears to be the case, even, like you said, with him dropping down in the other regions. As the draft is going very quickly.
Yeah.
We see the Garrosh, which was unexpected, which is not unexpected. And yeah, Tychus, one of the earlier Tychuses we've seen picked.
But unlike the Cassia, I don't even mind it, to be honest. I think
agreed.
Tychus is a highly versatile ranged assassin, right? Depending on what the enemy team brings to the table, you can adjust your playstyle. You can go more towards an Odin play at level 10, but even the Draken Laser Drill should never be crossed out of the equation, especially when the enemy team only features a single warrior, something like a Diablo, something like a Garrosh. If they go for a one-tank composition, oftentimes you would want to drop the laser down so you can still use your minigun to shred that one tank and really bring the entire enemy assault to a halt. Whereas if you oftentimes go for Odin against solo tank, you're not going to be able to shred the tank. They walk into you, and then even in the mighty Odin form, you're not going to be able to do much to really swing the tides.
Yeah, if you're a Tychus and you're not going to be pressured that much, then sometimes maybe taking in the rhythm and just keeping up your minigun for as long as possible can ruin teams of like slightly higher hit point heroes in fights.
Yeah, In the Rhythm is such an underrated talent, in my opinion. Of course, the bigger they are is absolutely fantastic against heroes like Diablo, Muradin, ETC, even Garrosh to an extent. It's so good, but In the Rhythm allows you to consistently shred targets, even when they're not tanks, right? A lot of people think that Tychus is only good against targets that are high HP, but even if you shred an enemy assassin with the bonus damage of your minigun, you're going to find yourselves the victor in most of those 1-versus-1 situations. It's absolutely fantastic.
Now we see with a Nubarak removed, as well as Junkrat. Once again, Junkrat also very high up in the priorities. With Nubarak being removed, we're back to, in terms of tanks that can deal with the Garrosh, you need someone with an escape. This is why a Nubarak was banned, because a Nubarak can just tunnel out after he's been thrown. Other heroes who could do similar, Muradin, but a little bit slower, and as such can be suffer the unfortunate sides of the Groundbreaker, or might be a bit too slow to leap out of the silence from Stukov.
I would like to see a Tyrael here as well. Tyrael, of course, provides a little bit of protection. He also has access to Swift Retribution at level 7, which we've seen in the past, work really well if paired with an Odin, right? You drop the E, the smite, near to Odin, and all of a sudden, you're going to find yourself with a lot more attack speed, which in return nets a lot more damage. So, what route are they going to go for?
Oh! Yay, is all I can say. Just yay. I'm super excited. And wait for the chat to catch up. And cool. So, a Chen. Falstad Chen. So, for starters, Chen is still pretty decent in the solo lane, but suffers in the meta right now just due to the sheer amount of CC. And we have Stukov as silence, we have Garrosh as consistent CC. Taunt, exactly. However, here's where Chen can gain an advantage. Stukov is going to be pressured constantly. If you go for a slam build, he's going to be slowing everyone consistently. If you go for a kick build, Stukov is going to be consistently harassed. I don't even know what's meta, because we haven't seen Chen in so long, but he also has either good survivability or good displacement in team fights, which can really ruin the combo of a Garrosh if he went for barrel.
And I certainly do not know the Chinese Chen meta. Let's face it. I mean, we've seen him, we've seen him appear in other regions every now and then. And the Varian is here to ruin Chen's day. Now, here's 2 reasons why Varian can be absolutely demolish the Chen, right? First of all, the taunt. We have another taunt, basically. We have the taunting brothers, Garrosh and Varian. But next in line, Tetra, level 13, he gains access to a talent called Shattering Throw. Every basic attack is going to shred the shields that Chen has been drinking on so heavily to build up. And then even if, Chen actually gets a good shield before the teamfight starts, an activatable component of Shattering Throw is going to ruin all of that progress. So if KT doesn't fall behind too early, if they actually make it to level 13 without being, let's say, 2 keeps behind already, I think they can actually stabilize quite well.
I think you might be right in the Jaina kiting. Not so good against Chen because he's just able to kick, but great against the other heroes. You can't just focus onto that wildcard hero.
Whew, all right. So at least they go for Tyrael, which... but that's even more shielding, by the way, so more value for Varian.
That's why I had concern, because, yeah, it's going to take Varian a very long time to get Shattering Throw. That's already not so bad. But... the Tyrael coming in here, they now have very low engage potential. Chen, like, they kind of have to go barrel, or at least the maximum slow, the touch of honey, to have any chance to really catch anyone outside of just speed boosting themselves in, and instead of, like, locking down heroes, just chasing them, which isn't the worst, because you're running into a Stukov, and if you can run past his lurking arm, you can probably get some decent stuff, but if you are planning to run at the enemy team, you're going to get taunted and kited by Jaina. This could be a rough game for Sunny Lion.
I'm trying to figure out a battle plan that Sunny Lion was trying to get in here. Maybe they're going to go for something like, I don't know, Judgment, and then Chen jumps behind with a barrel and kicks everyone away. And when the enemy team then just tries to help the target, they're going to get gusted away once again. So maybe that's going to be their plan in a 5 versus 5 situation here. But this is a very unreliable approach, to say the least, and also a quite hard one to execute right.
Who's the solo laner for KT?
The Varian.
Who's going to lane against... So Varian versus Chen, which is now much more of a appealing matchup than it used to be, because usually that would be, okay, well, Chen just wins. Yeah. But now Varian has taunt on lower levels. He can interrupt the drinking of the brew by Chen much more consistently and have a much better laning phase. And of course, he has self-sustain on Q.
All right, give it up for the Panda Boys on the left-hand side. The Sunny Lions with Pao on the Malfurion. Jaina is playing the false stand. Feet B on the Tychus. Twilight on the Chen. And first is on the Tyrael.
And on the right-hand side, it's KT with Hope on Jaina, Kaitu on Garrosh, TWT on the Stukov, Lycia on the Varian, and Zism is playing on Greymane.
And Tetra, you brought up such a good point in that solo lane, where we're probably going to see Varian duke it out against the Chen. He's going to have access to the taunt at level 4. That means he's going to have one reliable source of interrupts super early against the drinking process. Now, already on the Varian, we can see a talent deviation away from Wind that the player for CE was rocking earlier. It is the Lion's Maw, a talent that was hugely disregarded in his prior form because of the strong parry synergy. Now, the parry synergy isn't really there in his kit anymore. He's being reworked, and the Lion's Maw now, of course, could have a little bit more value. You need to hit enemy heroes. If you do, you gain stacks. If you stack it up, you're going to have a mightier slow and a longer, more damage, and a longer slow duration.
I love this a lot. This is fantastic. For starters, Lycia, Twilight not moving into the lane immediately, but you can see the rotating members of KT not even close to Lycia. But they do find Chen and Tyrael. First, in a little bit of trouble. Greymane dropping the damage. Eldarin Smite's good, and they're able to back up. But here's why I like it. If it is going to be Chen in this lane, which it looks like it isn't, they're reacting very well. Yeah. The problem I was going to say with that was, for starters, Varian's going to be able to interrupt the brew process very quickly. For second, Lion's Maw, you need to hit targets. What's better than that? Than fighting a static target who's brewing to get mana back. It's such a clutch move here, and it does set up if they're very unlikely to go. If the very unlikely scenario happens where they don't go for taunt, they could in theory jump into a Colossus Smash, and this is like the biggest damage output without having to risk taking a High King's quest.
You know what? I've rated Colossus Smash okay on my stream. I said, you know what? So many people were asking me, hey, Kendrick, what is your opinion on Colossus Smash? Is it good now? How's Varian in general? And I said, Taunt is the way to go. Colossus is playable, and Twin Blades is weaker than ever before. So maybe in a crazy world where KT is just trying to break the meta altogether, we're going to see a Colossus match. But let's see if that's actually going to happen. Instead, they take the fastest Dragon Knight ever.
And they get Chen. Silence on Chen. Nowhere to jump to. Can't jump because he's silenced. This is exactly what we expected to see. And here is the taunt as well. No meta breaking today. As the Dragon Knight is going to push against a single Malfurion Kendrick.
This is not going well. I mean, the rotations by Sunny Lion are so awkward right now. The silences are too good. There's no interrupts, by the way. None whatsoever against Stukov's silence, with the exception maybe of a Tychus grenade. But guess where Tychus is at? In the bottom lane. And that's about it.
Yeah, Chen barrel at level 10 maybe, but that's level 10. This is going to be a rough game. Dragon Knight's move to bot lane. It's going to just push in against Tychus. There's grabbing towers. This push in the top lane is also probably going to get a tower or two. In fact, it is going to get both towers. You see a ping onto Stukov. Looks like they just want to leap past. Chen jumping past the Stukov side. As Falstad flies past, Tyrael teleports past. They commit for the Stukov with the Breath of Fire. But Falstad goes down. If they don't get this kill, it'd be disastrous. They get the kill, but now they're so separated from the rest of their base. Twilight is drinking, trying to give himself some time, but he can't do it.
I think at this point, TWT on that Stukov, he was probably putting his hands off the keyboard, off the mouse. He was like, you know what, I'm just going to sit here, stay here, silence until the end of the day, and then we're going to catch every Sunny Lion, one after the other. I mean, he died, right? Stukov died, but at what cost? He got 3 kills in return, absolutely worth it, and now we see the new talent for Varian coming into play, Lionheart at level 7.
And that's going to make him very good in terms of poke and sustain. He doesn't have to just all in this kind of scenario. He's going to get good damage, good slows, and good, well, everything. Tychus is going to have had a good life, and his life will continue thanks to the help of Tyrael.
Yeah, the slows are good, though. The slows by Jaina. Kaito, is he going to make it? He's got 45 armor at his belt now. Oh, the double stun coming in. The healing is clutch to the shielding as well. Sunny Lion well evacuated.
Everyone lives. Kaito should have died. Hope should have died. So the entirety of Sunny Lion should have died during that, but everyone lives. Good job by both teams.
Absolutely. Wonderfully done. Although he was very clutch as well. Jaina, by the way, going for a Frostbolt build, with the exception of the level 1 where she took Fingers of Frost, netting her more mana regen. And of course, after completion, after getting enough regen globes, she will get a nice damage bonus.
So I'm not entirely sure which talent that is on Chen at level 7. I know that level 4 is Ring of Fire.
It's
but
Boulder
level
Flavor.
7. Okay, so he is so I was going to say this seems to be like the potentially the best one.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't sniff too hard at Purifying Brew.
Purifying Brew can be good, especially if you think of... Ooh, there was a kill on Jaina in the meantime. But Purifying Brew can be good, especially against taunts, you know. However, I think the Boulder Flavor is designed to absorb more damage coming in from the Jaina. Now, speaking of absorbing damage, you can't absorb that one. Beautifully done by KT. They just wrecked the Pandaren like there was no tomorrow. Also, a reason why I don't necessarily agree with the Boulder Flavor, Tetra, is because, true, it gives you more shields immediately. It gives you a little bit more resilience. But after level 13, there is no such thing going to be there.
That's massive. I would prefer the reapplication of shields.
Yeah.
Much due to the, like I said, the potential Purifying Brew. As we see Tyrael potentially attempting to harass and getting immediately wiped by Tyrael. Going to be able to clear a little bit of the minion wave. Nice taunt as well. Bringing in Tychus. See your feed B. And they're also going to be able to get this fort. Just, wow. This is out of control right now. 8 kills to 2 at 5 minutes. And no, the first fort of the game goes down. Jaina able to kill Falstad in a 1v1 as well. This is out of control.
This is absolutely out of control. I don't recognize the Sunny Lions at this point anymore. Not only was their draft very exotic, let's put it this way, almost bizarre, but they just can't seem to get a grip on this game at all. KT's all over the place. The Water Elemental Jaina just absolutely demolishing her Alliance brother, Falstad. Then, of course, we also have the Warbringer, once again, by the way, on Varian. So it seems like the days of Shield Wall are gone. But once again, you take a look at Sunny Lion's team composition, right? Falstad going Season Marksman build. Tychus, very melee attack or ranged attack heavy. So there's no need for him to even go Shield Wall. There's no Chromie, there's no Jaina in the enemy team.
Yeah, it's true. You can just get more mobility, more engage. Even if you don't want to take the shield, you can get percentage damage later as well. There's so many good things for Varian with this current build in this current game when you have a 3-level lead.
3-level lead. You mention it here. The moment level 10 arrives for Sunny Lion, there's almost going to be that 13. So we see Storm, Earth, and Fire for the Chen. A massive sounds coming in once again. Tranquility to keep everyone alive a little longer next to the Sanctification. And Tychus hasn't really decided yet what he wanted to go for.
See, now I don't know why Chen is picked at all. Because Storm of Fire is more sustained, but why would you pick him then? Yeah. Why not Leoric?
Exactly. Why not even a Sonya? I mean, there are so many other heroes available that do what Chen does, just a little bit more efficiently, right? But if you wanted to maybe wreak a lot of havoc, if you wanted to cause a lot of confusion in those team fights, then you could have gone for the barrel. Or, okay, here goes the Odin, by the way. 13 is here. Garrosh going into hit.
Chen moving in, gets taunted, but he's able to drop a little bit of a slow onto Kaito. It's not the Donkey Kong build, so it's not so bad, so they're able to escape without too much difficulty, actually. But here comes Falstad from the side, looks to want to get a gust, gets it pretty decent. Sag is dropped, but now they're just running back towards their towers. But the health bars dropping low. Odin gets pretty decent value here. There's Tranquility keeping everyone alive. But guess what? KT are all alive as well. Hope able to get out thanks to the taunt of Varian, stopping Tyrael getting any more attacks. As the turnaround begins to move. Storm of Fire does keep Chen alive this time, but Tyrael is dropped.
Varian and Garrosh proving to be too tanky for the Sunny Lions to take down. We saw the friendly dash by the Warbringer, by the way, to keep Varian safe and sound. He hasn't picked that level 13 yet. He's waiting for the Storm, Earth, and Fire to expire, and then doesn't even go for the Shattering Throw. He waited for the Juggernaut. Percentage damage with a lower cooldown from Warbringer. I'm not sure if I would have done the same, but let's see. Alicia, you can't run away from that. Varian is mad. He wants to get you.
The slows were good, the percentage damage is good, and KT pick up another kill.
Wow.
I love it. So cool.
This is so cool to see. This is a new style of Varian that we're going to have to get used to, at least in China. I wouldn't go as far and say that this Warbringer is the ultimate way of playing it. I would love other regions to see what they have in offer for Varian, but it's definitely cool to see the value and the different talent builds now. Shattering Throne game number 1, when Wind played him, and now the Juggernaut for more effective chasing down with the percentage damage.
Yeah, and with the extra slows you're getting from your Q as well, now that Lion's more, once Lion's more is 3 stacks, I don't know if it is yet, didn't see the alert.
No, I don't think it is.
But yeah, it's still going to be such good slow, good damage, good self-sustain, and percentage damage on top of it. No one escapes you. Your slows are almost as good as Jaina's at this point.
And here comes another Dragon Knight. Varian, Licia is piloting it, and they're going straight for the middle. Now, other teams would have oftentimes deviated and shifted towards the bottom lane because you have more movement freedom there. It's a side lane. You normally have an easier time finishing and closing out the game there. But the gate had already been destroyed earlier. As such, the keep was relatively defenseless. You see the Dragon Knight just right-clicking and flame-breathing it. Here comes a gust. 3 men into the Sanctification. This time, the execution was super well done by Sunny Lion.
But Jaina has been left alone. Down he goes as they focus onto Sism, but he just tanks through. The Stukov silence was perfect with no more Sank. Stukov even gets thrown out thanks to Into the Fray of Garrosh, so he will survive. And that's yet another team fight won by KT. Almost full team wipe, looking to make it the full team wipe. They chase in Wildlight, who looks for any kill, but he gets punch-killed by the Dragon Knight.
What is happening?
He's down. That's probably GG.
What is happening? This is not the KT that we watched last week. True, they improved, but they've got new players, 4 new players who have never played HGC China before, and they are demolishing Sunny Lions like it was a piece of cake. Varian is 2-0 in HGC China up to this point. What a solid display.
Someone called the RSPCA because that was some panda abuse. Chen had some serious troubles playing into Stukov. That was rough, but like you said, the Varian, on the other hand, that was terrifying. Consistent slows, consistent damage, good engage. The double